Hello and welcome to my channel Ada at Craftsville Academy. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for joining and for your support. If you are a new subscriber, welcome. I'm glad you are here. Thank you for your interest. My name is Ada Obi. I generally love sewing and making things by hand, and today I will be showing you step by step how to make a simple face mask with fabric. At the end of this tutorial, you'll be able to make your own face mask from scratch. Remember to hit the subscribe button and subscribe to my channel, and also hit the notification icon below so you'll get notified every time I post new tutorials every week. Now let's take a look at what you'll be learning in more detail.
Materials used to make this face mask are 1. Fabric of your choice. In this video I used raw silk. 2. Scissors. 3. Measuring tape. 4. Sewing machine. Some pins, a pencil and a marker, pressing iron, any small size elastic, and finally sewing thread. This is what we'll be making: a face mask, a simple face mask. Again, remember to hit the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel Ada at Craftsville Academy. Also hit the thumbs up button if you like this video or found it useful. Share with your friends this tutorial and get making. Now let's jump right into the tutorial. Now this is the fabric I'll be using, a raw silk. I'm folding the fabric once, and then using my measuring tape, I place it on the fabric horizontally and measure. I take my pencil and I mark 9 inches on the fabric horizontally and place it vertically on the edges, and using the pencil I mark 8 inches on the fabric. Next, I take my scissors and begin to cut upwards from the horizontally marked spot. Then I use the scissors to cut the fabric towards the other marked spot that is on the vertical side of the raw edge. When I'm done, this is how it will look like. Folded, I begin to use the scissors to cut open the folds. Now the fabric is in 2 equal pieces, 2 equal squares. Now we're going to take to the sewing machine and sew parallel stitches on both opposite edges. But first we open the piece of fabrics and we turn it in on itself over to the wrong side. Let the right sides face each other and the wrong sides face you, and we begin to sew straight stitches opposite the parallel edges with the sewing machine. Now we're done sewing one edge. We turn to the other edge that's opposite the one we've just sewn and sew straight stitches along the edge with your sewing machine. Now I am done sewing the second edge. So now we have 2 straight sewn edges, and this is how it will look like. And when we're done, keep it aside as we begin to work on our elastic. And this is the elastic we'll be using. we're using a small size elastic. We take our measuring tape, we place it on the elastic, and we begin to measure. We measure and mark 7 inches on the elastic band, and we cut out at that point. Repeat this for another elastic band to get 2 elastic strips from the bulk of elastic band. This is what we'll be using for our face mask. We keep it aside as we move back to the fabric. Turn the fabric to the right side by passing the fabric through the unsewn edges. Straighten up your fabric. As you can see, the sewn edges are now hidden. Then you use a hot iron to iron out the seam, making sure it is flat. The entire fabric is flat and straightened. Next, you take one edge of the unsewn part, and using your fingers, you turn it inwards on itself, like folding it inwards. Using one hand to hold the folds down, you begin to iron the folds with the hot iron. Use the iron to press down the fold to make it stay. Next, we use office pins to pin down the folds and to hold them in place to make it easy when we are sewing. Here I used 4 pins to secure the folds, but you can use as many pins as you want. Now we are done using the office pins to secure the folds for sewing. We turn it to the other side and repeat the same step, folding the edges in on itself. Then use one hand to hold down the folds while using the other to press the folds with a hot iron. Next, you use the office pins to secure the folds in place for sewing. Just as we did for the previous folded edge that we pinned, we just used office pins to hold down the iron edges so that it will be easy when we're sewing it. You can use as many pins as you want. Here I use 3. This is how it will look like after both edges have been secured with pins. Next, we sew both edges with a sewing machine. Before we begin to sew both edges, we're going to leave some seam allowance for the elastic band. We take our pencil and mark 1/2 inch from the top edge and 1/2 inch from the bottom edge. Next, we begin to sew straight vertical stitches from one marked point to the other marked point with a sewing machine. Remember to subscribe to my channel, Craftsville Academy. I post juicy tutorials every week. Hit the notification to get notified every time I post content or tutorials. Remember, you're not sewing all the way to the edge. You're going to stop this sewing machine at the mark that was created. Now we're done sewing this side, we turn it to the other side and repeat the straight vertical stitch from one marked edge to the other. Now this is how it will look like after we have sewn both folds closed, both sides. And then we begin to remove our pins that we used to secure the folds. Remove it from one side and as well from the other side. After we're done taking out the pins from the sides, we'll begin. Next, we're going to create the pleats for the face mask. The first pleats, we start by turning it inwards and as well as backwards. Holding the pleat there, we'll take a safety pin and pin down that first fold, as well as the edge of the second of the same fold. Now it's well pinned. We have created one pleat. We'll create the second pleat by folding it forward and then simultaneously pushing it back. And when we have gotten that second fold, we use the office pin and secure the fold in place on one side, as well as securing the fold in the other side using a pin. For the last fold, for the face masks, we repeat the same step of folding the fabric forward and then folding it back, this will create the third fold for the face mask, and then pin down the first edge of the third fold with office pin. Repeat the same for the second edge of the third fold and pin it down securely with the office pin. Now all our pleats are folded and secured with pins. Next, we're going to take our hot iron and press down the pleats for the face mask. Press down the pleats on both sides to make sure it's nice flat. And this is how it's going to be with the pleated edges on both sides. Next, we're going to sew straight stitches along the sides and edges of the pleats to secure these pleats. We're going to begin sewing from the first mark edge to the second mark edge, just as we did previously by sewing with our sewing machine. We're going to hold down the pleats and end on the second marked edge, leaving allowance for the elastic. After you're done sewing one edge of the pleats, turn to the other side and sew down the second edge of pleats. So this is how it will look like after you're done sewing both edges that were pleated. And next we begin to remove the pins that we used to secure the pleats. Now that it's been stitched, it's no longer needed. And now this is how it will look like. Face mask is already taking shape. Next we're going to add the elastic to the face mask by joining it at the edges, We first use our pencil to open up the hole that was left from the half and each seam allowance. Take our elastic and put it into the hole, hold it securely, and use pins to temporarily hold the elastic inside that hole. Repeat for the second hole, the same step. Put in the elastic and then use the pins to secure the elastic band inside the tunnel. After putting the elastic, we repeat it for the second side, the same steps we used to fix in the first one. After I'm done fixing in the elastics and secure with pins, this is how it will look like. Next, we're going to take it to the sewing machine and sew straight vertical stitches over the elastic spaces in order to permanently secure it. We start from the edge this time and run the machine all the way to the end of the fabric, leaving no space this time. After we're done sewing the elastic down in one edge, you turn it to the second edge of the elastic and we sew straight vertical stitches over the elastic band from one point to the other to secure the elastic band permanently. After we're done sewing, this is what the face mask is starting to look like. It's already nice and secure, and therefore we next to remove the pins. We do not need them anymore since we have sewn down the elastic bands. And this is how it looks like. Your face mask is ready. This is how it looks like, finished face mask. You can go ahead and try it on now. So I've gone ahead to try on my face mask and this is how it looks like. Yeah, face mask is ready. This is how it looks like.
Welcome back. We have come to the end of this tutorial where I showed you how to make a simple fabric face mask. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this tutorial useful. Remember to hit the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel and the thumbs up button to like this video. Till next time, take care. Bye.